Before we begin, these words are not Rumi's, but drawn from the same silence he spoke from. Close your eyes. Breathe. Feel this. Don't just hear it. Let's begin. What if your life isn't falling apart, but simply falling into place, one leaf at a time? What if the ache you carry is not a wound to heal, but a season to pass through? Not all beauty blooms in spring. Some of it falls in autumn, softly, silently, without asking for permission. You've been holding on, haven't you? To people, to memories, to versions of yourself that no longer breathe. And yet, something deeper in you whispers, let it fall, let it fall, let it fall. So pause, not to escape, but to remember. There is a silence that doesn't come from absence, but from presence, from being so fully here that even your thoughts grow quiet. Rumi once said, "Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open?" Maybe the prison was never outside. Maybe it was the noise within. You do not need to explain your stillness. You do not need to justify your gentle. The sky never hurries, and yet it always arrives. Let yourself arrive now, here, in the breath, in the body, in the space between stories. Because before the leaves can fall, before you can release what was never truly yours, you must first become still enough to feel what is. Let the wind settle. Let the world be. This is not the end. It is the beginning of return. A tree will rise in you, but not yet. First, the silence. First, the soil. First, the remembering. Come, let us meet the tree within you. And in that stillness, something begins to take shape, not with effort, but with remembrance, a quiet strength, a silent rising. A tree, not out there in the forest, but within you. Yes, you are not the storm. You are the tree that endures it. Can you feel your roots? Not in the ground beneath your feet, but in the unseen places of your being, the places that held you, even when you didn't know you were held. You've survived droughts. You've stood through winters. You've lost branches. You've grown new ones, and yet you are still here, still growing, even in your silence. Trees don't chase. They don't explain. They don't beg the wind to be kind. They simply stand, open to rain, open to sun, open to change. Can you do the same? Can you let your life be shaped by something larger than your plans? Try not to resist the changes that come your way, Rumi once whispered. Instead, let life live through you. The tree does not resist autumn. It does not mourn the falling leaf. It trusts that loss is part of the cycle, and that nothing real is ever truly lost. You, too, are made for this. To root deeply, even as the world moves. To stretch your arms toward a sky you'll never fully understand, and still call it home. To hold memories like leaves, tenderly, but never tightly. So don't be afraid of what must fall. The tree is never less itself when its branches are bare. In fact, that's when its roots grow deeper. You are not falling apart. You are shedding. Let the winds come. You were built for this. And when the time is right, what no longer serves will begin to loosen its grip, not through force, but through grace. Let's go there now, to the part of you that knows what it's time to release. And so, the leaves begin to loosen, not because they are pushed, but because the tree knows it is time. Let me ask you gently, what are the dead leaves you're still holding? Not the obvious ones, not the ones you already mourned, the quiet ones, the ones that cling in silence. A name you no longer answer to, a promise that was never kept, a love that faded slowly. So slowly, you mistook the absence for peace. These are the leaves that never made a sound when they died. Some of what you carry is not yours to heal, just yours to lay down. You are allowed to release the story you kept rereading in your mind, hoping for a different ending. You are allowed to stop performing for people who cannot see you. You are allowed to let go without having the perfect words to explain why. Rumi once said, "Don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure." But that day does not arrive by holding on to what aches. It comes when you say yes to the falling. And falling is not failing. It is grace in motion. It is truth, unclenching its fist. So sit with yourself, hold your own gaze, and ask with tenderness, what have I outgrown? What has quietly expired inside me? Sometimes we keep things because we're afraid of who we are without them. But listen closely. Your soul is not defined by what it once loved. You are not the falling leaf. You are the tree letting it go. And when it falls, let it fall. No judgment, no ceremony. No need to name it failure when it's only a new season arriving. Because beneath every leaf that falls, the ground grows richer. And beneath every letting go, your spirit becomes lighter. Let us move now to the sacred act itself. Not the idea of letting go, but the living of it. Not the words, but the release. It's time now to remember the art of surrender. Letting go. It sounds simple. 2 small words, 1 great unlearning. But how do you unclasp a hand that's been closed for years? How do you release what once held you together, even if now it holds you back? We often speak of surrender as if it's something we must force. A brave leap, a bold act, a final goodbye. But in truth, letting go is softer than that, quieter. It is not the ripping of roots, it is the relaxing of the grip. It is not about erasing the past, but about loosening its hold on the present. Rumi once asked, "Why are you so busy with this or that, or good or bad? Pay attention to how things blend." Letting go is not always about right or wrong. Sometimes it's just about what no longer fits, like a shell you've outgrown, like skin ready to shed. You don't need closure to release. You don't need a neat conclusion to bless what once was. You just need truth, not the loud truth, the quiet one, the truth that lives under the ache, the truth you knew before the fear. Letting go isn't about severing, it's about honoring. It's about saying, "Thank you, I no longer need to carry you." And in that moment, something ancient relaxes. You stop fighting the fall, and suddenly, it's not a fall at all, but a return to yourself. There is a beauty in allowing what wants to leave. It takes faith to let the branch be bare before you've seen the new bud form, but the tree does not panic when its leaves are gone. It trusts the rhythm. It knows the spring will come. So breathe. Inhale the truth. You are safe to let go. Exhale the lie, that you needed to hold it any longer. Let your soul unclench. Let your story soften. Let the space open. Because in that sacred emptiness, something begins to stir. Not a memory, not a regret, but a lightness, a life waiting to move through you. Let us turn now to the wisdom of the mystic who saw letting go as a divine invitation. Surrender. It was not a word Rumi feared. It was his path, his teacher, his beloved. He did not speak of letting go from the lips. He let go from the heart, over and over, until only love remained. What does surrender mean to one who has fallen in love with the divine? It is not defeat. It is not weakness. It is trust. a deep bow of the soul to something far greater than understanding. Try to be like the night. Rumi once said, to cover all mistakes. In those few words, he revealed everything. The night does not fight the dark. It becomes it, wraps it gently, cradles even the pain with the arms of love. This is surrender, not turning away, but turning in and becoming vast enough to hold all of it. Rumi did not run from loss. He danced with it. He let shams disappear. He let identity burn. He let form collapse so that the formless could rise. He wept, and still he wrote. He broke, and still he praised. He surrendered, not because he had to, but because he saw no other way to touch God. And perhaps that's the truth we hide from, that the thing we're holding on to is not more valuable than what waits on the other side of surrender. It is not the pain we fear, it is the spaciousness beyond it, the freedom that would require us to live without the old crutches. You don't have to burn like Rumi, but you can begin to loosen, not to abandon life, but to finally embrace it, to trust that what falls is part of the way rising begins. That grief, too, is sacred. So today, you are invited to surrender in small ways, to soften your shoulders, to stop forcing the outcome, to place your fears at the feet of something greater than fear, and say, even this, I offer. Let us walk now to the moment we avoid most, not because it hurts, but because it humbles us. The moment when the clinging becomes too heavy and the soul whispers, let it go, child. You were never meant to carry it. And so we go into the ache of holding on too long and the medicine of letting it end. There comes a point when the heart knows, but the hands do not, when the soul whispers, it's time. And yet you cling as if letting go might unravel you completely. We've all been there, holding on to someone long after their voice stopped echoing in our lives, replaying conversations that never end differently, carrying hopes that have quietly grown heavy. Why do we do this? Because somewhere along the way, we confused familiarity with love. We began to believe that release was the same as rejection, that if we let go, we'd lose something vital. But dear one, you are not losing life by letting go. You are creating space for it to finally flow. Rumi said, you were born with wings, why prefer to crawl through life? But wings cannot open if your fists are full of the past. Letting go is not forgetting. It is not abandoning. It is grieving with open hands. It is saying, I honor what was, but I do not need to carry it anymore. Some pain we cling to because it gives us identity. It makes us feel real. It tells a story we've learned to live inside. But you are not your wounds. You are not your memories. You are not the one who was left or the one who failed to stay. You are the one watching it all and choosing now to release. The tree does not mourn every leaf that falls. It trusts that what no longer serves must go to make room for what is to come. Can you trust that too? That you don't have to force forgetting. You only need to stop gripping. Some things fall away because they were never meant to remain, and some things stay, not because you hold them, but because they are true. So let yourself break a little. It's okay. It's holy. In the breaking, something false falls away, and what's left is more real than anything you've held before. Let it drop. Let the season change. Let your soul breathe again. And now, let us enter that sacred in-between space, the soul's quiet autumn, where the falling becomes fertile. There is a season of the soul that no one prepares you for. It does not arrive with fanfare. It does not knock. It enters quietly, like early dusk, and colors everything in gold and grief. This is autumn, not just in the world, but in you. In this inner autumn, you do not bloom. You do not create. You do not chase the light. You sit and watch as things fall. Dreams, roles, attachments you once thought eternal. They drop, not because you failed, but because their time has passed. This is not a season to fear. It is a sacred undoing, a gentle turning in, the soul preparing for what it cannot yet name. Rumi once whispered, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you." This is the wisdom of autumn. It does not fight its fading. It glows all the way down. And so must you. There is a kind of beauty that only comes through release, a kind of truth that only visits when the noise has gone quiet. In this space, you meet your essence, not the one dressed in achievements, but the one who simply is, still, rooted, whole. So breathe. Let yourself soften. Let the story fall from your hands like leaves from the tree. This is not death. It is preparation. This is not the end. It is ripening. And beneath the fading, something is deepening. After the leaves fall, there is a quiet, a sacred hush. No movement, no blooming. Only bare branches and open sky. We often run from this space, this emptiness, as if it means something is wrong. But what if emptiness is not a void, but a womb? We've been taught to fear the in-between, to fill silence, to rush the becoming. But the tree does not bloom in every season, and still it is not less of a tree. So why do you believe you must always be growing to be worthy? Sometimes you are not meant to move forward. You are meant to deepen, to rest in the unseen roots, to sink into the ground of being, to trust that even in stillness, you are becoming. Rumi said, "With life as short as a half-taken breath, don't plant anything but love." But love cannot grow on crowded soil. It needs space, the kind of space that only comes after letting go. So let this emptiness nourish you. Let the silence speak truths that words cannot hold. Let your soul settle into the vastness it had forgotten it belonged to. Because in this sacred pause, life is preparing to return. Not as it was, but as it was always meant to be. And when the silence has spoken, when the old has fallen and the soil has rested, something begins to rise. Not a shout, not a command, but a slow, steady reaching, a quiet yes to life. You begin to become the tree. You do not cling now. You do not fear the wind. You do not demand the seasons obey your will. You simply stand, rooted, open, real. To become the tree is to trust the unseen, to love from the heart without needing to possess, to release without bitterness, to bloom without pride, to wait without panic. You have lost nothing. You have become yourself. Rumi once wrote, "Be like a tree and let the dead leaves drop." But what he didn't need to say was this: when the old leaves drop, the tree does not weep. It leans toward light. It opens its arms. It sings again in silence. And so do you. This is who you are now. Not the broken one, not the grasping one, but the rooted one, the sacred one, the still one, the one who trusts that what is meant for you will arrive, not by force, but by grace. Close your eyes. Let your breath slow. You are walking now through a forest that lives inside you. The ground is soft. The light is golden. And in the middle of it all, there is a tree. You. Its trunk is worn but strong. Its branches stretch to the sky. Its roots run deeper than memory. Around it, leaves fall, softly, effortlessly, as if they were never meant to stay. You walk closer. You place your hand on its bark and feel peace. No striving, no pretending, just being. This is your truth. Not the stories, not the scars, but this stillness, this presence, this quiet strength. Stay here for a moment longer. Let yourself breathe as the tree breathes. Let go as it lets go. Stand tall, not in pride, but in peace. You do not need to carry anything forward. What's meant to remain will. What's meant to fall has already begun. You are not empty. You are open. You are not lost. You are free. You are not fading. You are remembering. Be like a tree. Let the dead leaves drop. If this touched something within you, share it with someone whose heart is ready to let go. And if you wish to walk deeper into these silences, subscribe and stay a while. More whispers will come. When the soul is ready, the words arrive. Let these words be a beginning, not the end. Subscribe to our channel and return whenever your soul calls.